Welcome to the City Manager's Report. The City Manager's Report, a look at city updates and municipal news, and a preview of the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda. Your hosts, Emily Springstroh of Oshkosh Media and City Manager Mark Roloff.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us on your City Manager's Report right here on GovTV with Oshkosh Media, your source for all of the latest and greatest news and updates going on right here in Oshkosh. I'm your host, Emily Springstroh, as always joined by our City Manager, Mark Roloff. So Mark, thank you so much for joining us today.
Great to be here, Emily.
It's great to have you. So as always, we'll go ahead, dive into our hot topics for the first half of today's show. We'll take a little break, and then we'll return with a preview of the upcoming Common Council meeting agenda for Tuesday, January 23rd, 2018. So Mark, first item on our hot topic list that we want to talk about, and this is a very hot topic, and that is Pulco has launched today, Thursday. We're so excited about this new tool. It's live, and maybe you can talk a little bit about what Pulco is, what kind of tool it is, and how it's going to help the city.
Sure. Pulco is actually a Wisconsin-based company that just was recognized for a new startup company doing a great job for their clients. And what they do is they provide citizen engagement platform on the internet to help public provide input on a variety of issues, and it's available on many different platforms, be it a mobile device, your computer, things like that. And the whole idea is for you to chime in on issues that may be of interest to you, and we're already discussing the different applications that might be available. The first one out of the gate is the Parks Board has been discussing, as everybody knows, what to do with the balance of Lakeshore Golf Course now that we're selling a portion of it off to Oshkosh Corporation. So it's a very simple survey. What do you think we should do? Should we try to use it for some additional recreational uses, or do we preserve the remaining acreage for a 9-hole executive golf course? So real simple, and then we've added a couple other questions in there, snow and ice removal, and just other questions to get more people interested. It is intended for the entire public, not just any one segment. And the simplistic part of it is you get to register once, and then you're in the system always. And that's so you don't have to keep putting your name or anything like that. And Pulco keeps all that information away from the client. We just want to get all the information brought together so your identity is safe, but they want to make sure that you don't vote twice, so that's why they get all your information so they know you're not voting twice.
Yes, and it's exciting that we have such a large topic of conversation right now to kind of kick off the Pulco tool that we'll be using with the golf course. But like you said, it's not just for the golf course item, it's for all the other things going on in Oshkosh, more general things. And as projects come up, those people who are already registered will get notification that new questions come up. And it's just it's a great opportunity, makes it a lot easier for people to give public input. So for example, if you're not able to go to a public input meeting, it's a great opportunity too. And it's also, I don't know if we mentioned that there is an app available for Pulco, so definitely look that up on the App Store. Otherwise, on the Connect Oshkosh app, there is a button to reach Pulco as well. So a lot of great ways to access it.
Yeah, I see applications down the road. Our annual citizen survey, I see a possible use of it there. We do strategic planning with the city council every other year, getting input before we get into our retreat with council to get feedback from them. So there's a lot of great possibilities for this, but you got to go to the App Store, or you can get to the app through the Connect Oshkosh app as well. So we got plenty of different ways to do it, so please access it if you can.
Definitely. And so for more information about the background of what Pulco is and how we'll be using it, visit the city website. We've got a media release posted there. Otherwise, just keep an eye on our Facebook and Twitter pages, and we'll be posting updates on results of the Pulco questions and new questions that are coming out too. Moving on, Mark, we're going to talk about lead service. And now this is something that is kind of a big topic. We had a pilot program for lead service replacements last year, I believe, and now that's being changed to a more permanent program. So tell us a little bit about what the lead service replacement program does for the city.
Well, the idea is that there are residents, a large number of residences that have lead services. And that's, when I say lead service, I mean that part where your property line connects with the the water lateral that goes into your house from the street. The service goes from your property line into your house. And so here are some examples of replacing some old lead, in this case laterals or perhaps even services. The pilot program was in areas that were just getting new streets done this year, but we've decided we're going to open it up. If you have a lead service and you want to get it replaced, we want you to apply for this program. So the whole idea is to provide some financial support, a little more if you have some demonstrated financial need, but we want to try to help everybody. If they've got a lead service, we want you to replace it. You can certainly test and make sure you don't have any problem, but the best way to ensure that you don't have a lead problem in your pipes is just to get rid of the lead. And so that's what we're hoping to do. The pilot program went very well. It was very popular, but now we know that there are other areas of the city. Anything that was built before 1960, the chances are very, very good that you have some type of lead service because that's how the homes were built back then. So we want people to be able to say, hey, I think I want to check this out. So please be on the lookout for Public Works. The website's going to have more information. We're going to be talking about it at the council meeting on Tuesday to get that program off the ground. But it's so important that it goes well beyond just getting it approved at the council level. It's making people aware of it so that they can finally take some control over getting the lead pipes out of their homes and leading into their homes.
Definitely, a very important concern. Like you said, visit the website for more information, and it is on the council agenda, so there will be more discussion and information at the meeting as well. Up next, really exciting, the Oshkosh Public Museum. There's always something new coming out over there, and they have a new exhibit coming up called Replay, a little bit of a blast of the past from the 80s coming up. It starts on February 18th, goes through the 23rd. Tell us a little, March 23rd, I believe.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the 80s flashback, Mark.
Well, because I'm a product of the 80s, well, probably so. There's probably some truth to that. For those of you who were there for the really successful Lego exhibit, comes from the same people that inspired that one. So it's a flashback to the 80s. So it's Rubik's Cube, it's Legos, it's I think He-Man. We were looking at different things that are in there. So if you were growing up in the 80s and you remember some of the cartoons, there's your He-Man cartoon. But it's really just kind of having a fun, tongue-in-cheek look at the 80s and then just showing how the 80s have shaped where and who we are today. And I think it's a lot of fun, but even though we have People of the Waters, which is our new permanent exhibit, we still have the traveling or the moving exhibits, and the Replay exhibit's going to be running all the way through May. So is it
May?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay. I had the wrong
got
dates.
a lot of stuff with that, and
Yes.
Travel Wisconsin, our state's tourism agency, is absolutely in support of this, and they're helping us market it as well. So we're real excited that this is, it's not as ancient history, maybe as People of the Waters, but it's a fun look at a recent history. Give people the opportunity to visit the museum. You get a little, if you haven't been to People of the Waters, absolutely go see that. And then if you want a little fun and recent history to go along with it, go on up to the second floor and take a look at the Replay exhibit.
Yes, and it's just another great example that the museum's always changing. So you don't have to just go once to see it all. They're always having different exhibits rotating through there. And I like the comparison between the ancient history and the more recent history. That's
there
great.
you go. Yeah, well then it doesn't make me seem so old
Yeah,
when I'm
there
talking
you
about
go.
the 80s.
One other thing that we want to mention before we hit the question mark segment here during City Manager's Report is just a reminder of the final week for Christmas tree collection. I know it seems like it was forever ago that Christmas happened, but the final week is January 22nd through the 26th that you can leave your Christmas tree out on your regular scheduled garbage collection day. And then you can see the other points on there, the basic things. Make sure the decorations are all off of it. Make sure the tree stand's off of it. No artificial trees will be accepted. That kind of thing. And of course, if you do miss this day, you can still take advantage of the yard waste collection site as well on West 3rd Avenue. So,
But make sure you have, if you go to the West 3rd Avenue, make sure you have your 2018
yes.
yard waste stickers, and you can get that at Kits and File or over here at City Hall, and those are the little things. But if you can get it out on the terrace next week, you have nothing to worry about.
Yes, definitely. And of course, as always, more information on the city website about that. You can find all the details there as far as which day your garbage collection day is and all of that. So now it's that time of the show here on City Managers Report where viewers have the chance to ask their city manager anything they want about different projects and updates going on in the city. That's right, it's Question Mark. Let's see what the question is this week. All right, Mark, the question is, what's this talk of Native American village being found on Lakeshore Municipal Golf Course? And this is circulating around Facebook quite a bit.
It's been all over the place. I've been asked multiple places, multiple different platforms and everything. So nothing's really changed from the report I gave to council a couple weeks ago. We are required by law to do an archaeological investigation of anytime we're digging up any areas. You may recall last year we did Bayshore Drive. We found some Native American artifacts there, and so we had to get those documented. And we were working through the State Archaeological Society, and they've directed us to UW Milwaukee, where they have a program there that does this analysis. So similar to that, we had to do something at Lakeshore. And this talk of a village, I think it's because people have been asking other folks questions, and I don't think there should be any surprise to anybody that this was Native American grounds for centuries. Mm-hmm. So the fact that the talk of a village, I don't know if that's necessarily the correct term, but there were villages all over the place here. What we found is an ancient, evidence of a dumping ground where Native Americans left fish bones and things like that. But we have to do our due diligence. We can't take anything for granted, and by law we're required to excavate the area that's going to be used as the excavated area or the building area for Oshkosh Corporation, and we agreed to take care of that before they start building, as opposed to them doing it. So we're going to get it taken care of, and that's part of our big project. UW Milwaukee will likely be here in the spring with their small army of professors from anthropology and interns to dig up the site. Anything of value or architectural significance will be turned over to our public museum. So our public museum will keep it. It'll stay right here in Oshkosh. Mm-hmm. But the early excavation was just things like pottery shards and fish bones and things like that. But again, because we have to do our due diligence, we have to take a look at all those things. So by springtime, we'll have it figured out and identified. We may have some interesting stories that come out of it. Certainly, I read some of the information that was written by a UW Oshkosh professor, and it sounds there's some wonderful history to this area, as we all know, and some of it may come to life, but other people have tried to infer that there's other things. No, there's no evidence of any human remains or anything like that. No structures or things of that nature either. It just looks like a dumping ground, but we'll check it all out and see what we find this spring.
Kind of an exciting little discovery, though, even if it is a bunch of garbage.
Oh yeah, and I'd love to do it now, except the ground's just too frozen.
Right.
So we'll have to wait until it softens up a little so we can dig it up. And yeah, I'm sure we'll be talking about it in future episodes.
Definitely. We will follow up with an update of what is found on that site. And so a great question. That one did come from the Facebook rumor mill this time. But if you have a question and you'd like us to answer it on the show, send it to Mark via Twitter at City of Oshkosh, post it on our Oshkosh Media Facebook wall, or you can email it to questionmark@ci.oshkosh.wi.us, and he will answer it on the next episode of City Managers Report. So we're going to take a quick break here, and when we return, we will dive into the Common Council meeting agenda for Tuesday, January 23rd. We'll be right back.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Hi, I'm Peter, and there's nothing I love more than sharing vegetables with my friends.
Come on in.
Help yourself to anything. That's why we give our food the utmost respect it deserves. Did you know there are simple steps we can all take to help save food? You can cook it, store it, even share it. Just don't waste it. Because when it comes to food, better ate than never. To learn more, visit savethefood.com.
Welcome back to City Manager's Report. Thanks again for joining us. Now it's the second half of the show. We're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the highlights of the upcoming Common Council meeting agenda for Tuesday, January 23rd, 2018. So, Mark, the first item that we want to discuss under consent agenda is the approval of the intergovernmental cooperation agreement between the City of Oshkosh and the Oshkosh Area School District, and this is for the operation of the Pollock Community Water Park. And I think a lot of people don't realize that there is this little partnership going on here. So maybe describe a little bit about what this collaboration is.
This has been going on for years, but essentially we contract with the school district, the rec department, which is operated by the school district. Not everybody knows that either. To help operate primarily the guards, but operate the pool for us. We take care of the structure and the pool itself, but the operations, making sure that the kids are safe when they're there, the families are safe. So primarily lifeguards, and of course, one of the advantages, because the school district, they have pools during the winter and they have swim teams, and so they've got the perfect pool of applicants to assist us with that. So we continue to do that, and we reimburse the school district, and then they pay the kids who are helping us with the lifeguard services out there.
Yes, so it's a win-win partnership there, and of course a little plug to tell people to start applying for those positions this summer. It's a great summer job too. So moving on under consent agenda, we've got approval of the agreement for disposal of contaminated soil from various projects in the 18 and 19 capital improvement program. This is a big number. It's $2.5 million, a little over that. So tell us a little bit about what this is dealing with the contaminated soil.
Well, that is a big number, and it's not for a single project. What it is all of our capital improvement projects, whether it is something related to streets or a public building, anything with our utilities. We're required by law that if we encounter any contaminated soil, that we have to get rid of it, and you have to dispose of it in a licensed facility. Now, we're fortunate enough to have Valley Trail landfill, nearby in Berlin, and that's where we take our soils to. This is an estimate based on our capital projects for 2018. We've got some big projects going on, a lot of excavation going on, and that's a number we expect to have soil that we'll have to haul away. If we're a little low on it, it'll be less, but we wanted to make sure that we're very upfront about what the potential is. It's a few $100,000 probably with every project, but we've had this before with other projects where we've encountered soils, and you just can't put them back in the ground because typically they're contaminated with some type of VOCs or gas, diesel fuel from an old underground storage tank and things like that. Not necessarily anything the city did, because these were old gas stations, underground tanks and things like that, but we're responsible to get rid of them when that happens.
Interesting, and it's it's fascinating to hear that this is a part of all those CIP projects. A lot of times you don't think about that when you're doing a development. You don't think about the soils, so it's a good reminder of that.
Well, we talked about another one with Native American artifacts. So when we dig, we have to take everything that comes with us, and so this is part of it, and this is cleaning up the environment. So it's absolutely important that we get this done.
Excellent. And these are all dealing with the CIP, which is a great segue into the next couple items that we want to talk about, the approval of the resolution for special assessments, and a few big projects coming up here, and that's Court Street, Otter Ave, and Washington Ave. So kind of tell us a little bit about what we're going to be expecting with these ones.
Well, the reason it's on the agenda is anytime we have project, a portion of the street improvements are special assessed to the adjoining property owners. The city pays most of it. Technically, the city is supposed to pay a third, and each side pays a third, but the city usually covers up to 40 to 50% of all the costs, and that doesn't even include the utilities, of which we pick up virtually everything. So there's a lot that we do pick up. But Court Street and Otter in Washington, Washington Avenue in front of the YMCA is in desperate need of repair. Court Street and Otter are really connected because of storm sewers, but they're in pretty rough condition as well. And we got to get all the water to go down to the river, and so it'll go down Court Street right by the convention center all the way to the river. So that's how it works. And that's a big project. You're going to see a lot of digging, a lot of dust and everything kicking up over there. And then, of course, we also are doing Osceola Street. That's over by the university. They also pay special assessments, but it's a lot easier to notify one, so we don't really need to talk about Osceola too much, but it's completing a project that was started there a few years ago.
Okay, and this is all coming up in the near future here.
Right, and then there's also the other item on the agenda is a resolution for Oregon Street.
Yes.
And remember a few months back we had some discussions about Oregon, about the width of the street, and the council decided on that. So now we're notifying the folks that it will be the wider street that they were asking for. That costs a little more, but that was the consensus of what everybody wanted. And this has to do with not just the condition of the street, but also the condition of the sewers over there, because the sewers are undersized and need to get upsized so that the utility will pay for. And you're going to see this continue from 8th to 16th this year, and then 16th south as the future years go on. Eventually, we're going to get it all the way out to Ripple Road.
Excellent. Well, it's great to have a little preview of these, and definitely look forward to more information and discussion on those in the council meeting.
Yeah.
Moving on under consent, the renewal of the Bird City, Wisconsin designation, as well as designating May 5th, 2018 as International Migratory Bird Day. So annual thing, right?
It's an annual thing. It's recognizing that we're trying to protect wildlife, in this case birds. We've been recognized as Bird City since 2010, and May 5th will be another celebration. The Sustainability Board assists us with that, and we're real excited to continue that into the future.
Wonderful. And stay tuned for more on Bird Fest coming up in May. Under pending ordinances, Mark, we've got the amending of the penalties for possession of marijuana for adults. Now, this has been an ongoing conversation for the last few meetings. What's the latest with the ordinance?
At the last meeting, what the council did was they had two different proposals. They listened to the police chief about some of the concerns about enforcing one of the rules. And so pretty straightforward now. The ordinance that's on the agenda is simply changing the fine to $200 plus court costs. Currently, it's $325 in court costs. The council can discuss that. I'm sure we've had a lot of people at the meetings. I'm sure you're going to get people continuing to speak up on the issue. But I think it's a little more simple now. What do you want the fine to be? What number is it going to be placed at? It's on the agenda as 200. The council has the ability to amend that if they wish. And I guess that's what we'll see on Tuesday night.
Sounds great. Under new resolutions, we've got the authorization of a committee to plan and organize a Unity and Community event sponsored by the City of Oshkosh. So this is kind of a cool event coming up on May 5th at the Leach. Tell us a little bit about this one and how it came to be.
Mayor Cummings has seen an opportunity to help unite the community. We were just at a session the other day that told us that there were 50 different languages being spoken in the Oshkosh Area School District. So diversity and people of different cultures is a reality here in Oshkosh. And I think the mayor saw it as an opportunity to bring different groups together, and he's got a lot of different diverse community groups that are participating in this. The mayor wants to kick it up a level and say, I really think this should be formally sponsored by the city. He was taking this on kind of as a private citizen, but he's bringing it to council, and the idea is to have the city formally sponsor it. And if the council approves that, the Parks Board will be the Parks Department will be assisting them. It's going to be held at the Leach Amphitheater, so it'll be exciting.
Yes, we're looking forward to it. And once again, stay tuned for more information on that, some of the activities. But I know there will be a lot of good food involved in the event too. So we're looking forward to it.
That'll be a lot of fun.
Moving down under new resolutions, we've got a couple items referring to TID District 34 and 35. And we've talked about these before on the show, dealing with the Oshkosh Corporation and Oshkosh Avenue Corridor. corridor. So tell us a little bit about this and what's going on.
Well, this is the financing mechanism to take care of the incentives that the council had approved in their proposal to Oshkosh Corporation. TIF 34 is just about the Oshkosh Corp property itself. What that says is the tax increment that will be generated will be used to provide incentives to Oshkosh Corporation for locating here. And so that's really as simple as it is. The idea is that that will be isolated from anything else that we're doing, which is in TIF 35. There will be some spillover benefit. It's a much larger area, and there are a lot of improvements that we believe are necessary. And the purpose of the TIF 35 district is to identify other areas that may get developed, and then improvements in that area. And the keystone development or the improvement there is going to be at Sawyer and Oshkosh Avenue, because that is really what helps make Oshkosh Avenue flow. So that improvement there, along with improvements right towards the entrance, kind of where you see the TID 35 letters right there, improvements there to get back to Oshkosh Corporation, and then hopefully pay for some of those improvements through this tax increment district. So we're excited that we've split it up into two to just make it simple. There's some advantages to having TIF 35 as a second district, and so we're going to take advantage of those things. But as development occurs, then we'll be able to do some of those improvements in TIF 35.
Great. Well, it's exciting to see this kind of taking shape and moving forward. And once again, we look forward to more discussion during the council meeting. This is a great segue into the next item that we want to discuss too under future agenda items is the joint workshop with Traffic Review and Plan Commission to discuss the Oshkosh Avenue Traffic Impact Study, which impacts this TID district.
Everything that we're going to do is going to be based on a traffic study that we're conducting right now. We've hired a firm, KL Engineering, and they are preparing a report that will be submitted to the council as well as the Plan Commission and Traffic Review Board. And the idea behind that is what improvements do we anticipate? So it'll be on Tuesday, January 30th at 5:30 p.m. It'll be right here on GovTV, so people can watch in and listen to what's being said. You know, what kind of intersection would Sawyer and Oshkosh look like? What's it going to look like on Oshkosh Avenue between Sawyer Street and Highway 41? What's going to happen with the roundabouts? What's not going to happen with the roundabouts? Stay tuned and you'll find about all those things.
There's a lot to talk about, that's for sure. So we're looking forward to that discussion with Traffic Review and Plan Commission. And then we're going to move on into the final item that we have here to talk about on City Manager's Report today, and that is the process on issuing open liquor licenses. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a change, right?
Well, we're asking council to give some consideration to how we currently issue liquor licenses. A lot of times when we have one open, we cast the net and say who wants to be interested in those. But we've allowed a lot of liquor licenses to really remain unused at a separate property. What we're thinking is maybe what we do is we bring all of them in, and then as properties have a development opportunity, and we can use the available liquor licenses to issue those. Things have changed. A lot of liquor licenses have been turned in, or they're remaining, they're really laying, they're fallow. What we want to do is bring those in and give people an opportunity to tap into those, and if they need them, we've got them available. Otherwise, they're going to stay scattered throughout the city unused. So it's a different approach for council to think about, and we're going to have that discussion and get feedback from council.
It makes sense to take a look at it in a different perspective. So thanks for that update, Mark. That does it for this episode. We're just about out of time. So Mark, as always, thank you so much for joining us on City Manager's Report.
Oh, happy to be here.
So again, the Common Council meeting is this Tuesday, January 23rd at 6 p.m. You can watch it live on GovTV and on our website at oshkoshmedia.org. Or you can listen to it on 101.9 Oshkosh FM, which is also online and on the TuneIn Radio app for mobile devices. Don't forget to like Oshkosh Media on Facebook or follow us on Twitter for all of your community and government programming and updates. Or be sure to check out our YouTube channel for past episodes of your favorite programs and government meeting replays. And as always, if you have a question for City Manager Mark Roloff, you can send it to us on Facebook or Twitter, or go ahead and email it to us, and he will answer it on the next episode of CMR. So once again, thank you very much for joining us on City Manager's Report, and we'll see you next time.